The village was quiet, bathed in the golden light of dawn. The storm had left its mark. Broken branches littered the streets, and puddles reflected the sky like shattered mirrors. But there was a sense of peace in the air, a calm after the chaos. Etta stood at the edge of the forest, gazing at the tapestry she had hung just before the sun rose. It was her offering to the village, a symbol of hope and a tribute to the weaver's legacy. Villagers began to gather, drawn by the sight of the new tapestry. They whispered among themselves, pointing at the vibrant threads that depicted the story of the storm, the weaver, and the mysterious figure, Etta herself. Some faces showed recognition, others confusion, but all were captivated by the intricate patterns and vivid colors that told a tale of transformation and unity. Etta felt a pang of sadness mixed with relief. The weaver's presence had been a guiding force throughout her journey, and though she had never met him in the flesh, she felt as if she had come to know him intimately through his art. The weight of his legacy had settled on her shoulders, and with it, a new sense of purpose. As the villagers admired the tapestry, Etta was approached by an elderly woman she recognized as Mara, one of the village's oldest storytellers. Mara's eyes, usually clouded with age, were bright and alert as she studied the artwork. "You've done something extraordinary here, child," Mara said, her voice soft yet strong. "The weaver's gift was a rare one, but you've taken it and made it your own." Etta felt a swell of emotion. "I didn't know what I was doing at first," she admitted. "I just followed the threads. But it was as if they were guiding me, showing me what needed to be done." Mara nodded, a knowing smile on her lips. "The weaver's magic was never just his own. It belonged to the forest, to the threads of fate that bind us all. He was merely a conduit, and now it seems you are too." The villagers, emboldened by Mara's words, began to approach Etta, asking her questions about the storm, the tapestry, and what had happened in the forest. She spoke openly, sharing the truth about the weaver's final message, the loom that seemed to hum with life, and the vision she had seen of herself standing alongside him. The villagers listened with rapt attention, their fear giving way to a sense of awe and wonder. "It was never just a storm," Etta said, her voice clear and strong. "It was a reflection, a mirror held up to our deepest fears and our greatest hopes. The weaver saw that, and he tried to show us through his art. But in the end, it was up to us to decide how to face it." Mara stepped forward, her hand reaching out to touch the tapestry's edge. "And face it we did," she said softly. "With courage, with hope, and with the strength of our community." The villagers nodded in agreement. Etta felt a warmth spread through her, a connection to the people around her that she had never felt before. They were no longer just a collection of individuals. They were a tapestry themselves, each thread a unique story woven together to create something greater than the sum of its parts. As the morning wore on, Etta made her way back to the weaver's old studio. She felt a sense of closure as she entered the small, cluttered space one last time. The loom was silent now, its threads at rest. The air was still, filled with the lingering scent of damp earth and aged wood. It felt like a goodbye. She carefully packed up the weaver's notes and his unfinished works, placing them into a weathered leather bag. These pieces were part of his legacy, a legacy she intended to honor and preserve. But she knew her path was her own now. The weaver had left the loom and its secrets to her, but she was free to decide what came next. Before leaving, she took a final look around the studio. Her eyes fell on a small, folded piece of paper tucked behind the loom's frame. She hadn't noticed it before. With trembling fingers, she unfolded it. The paper was worn and smudged, but the handwriting was unmistakable. It was a final note from the weaver. "To the one who finds this, the threads of fate are tangled and frayed, but they are never truly broken. I leave this work unfinished, not as a failure, but as a gift. For the future is not yet written, and its tapestry is yours to weave. Trust in the threads. Trust in yourself." Etta's eyes filled with tears. She held the note close to her heart, feeling the weight of its message sink in. It was a blessing, a farewell, and a challenge all at once. The weaver had known she would find this, had known that she would be the one to carry on his work. He had trusted her, and now it was her turn to trust in herself. With a deep breath, Etta stepped out of the studio and closed the door behind her. She looked back at the small, weathered building one last time, then turned and walked away. The sun was high in the sky now, the forest alive with the sounds of birdsong and the rustle of leaves in the breeze. Etta knew that her journey was far from over. The storm had passed, but the world was still full of mysteries, full of stories waiting to be told, and tapestries waiting to be woven. She felt a spark of excitement, a thrill she hadn't felt since she first set foot in the weaver's clearing. She had faced the storm, faced her fears, and now she was ready to face whatever came next. With the weaver's note tucked safely in her bag and the village's gratitude warming her heart, she set off down the forest path, ready to weave the next chapter of her story. And somewhere, far beyond the veil of reality, the weaver watched with a smile, his spirit at peace, knowing the loom was in good hands.